Hello, and welcome back to Red Dead Redemption 2. And in this series we will focus on the stranger missions, which are essentially the side quests of the game. And today's stranger mission slash side quest is called a Fissure of Fish. So this one, basically we have to collect up all of the legendary fish on the map. So here we are once again at base camp, and we are going to head off to a very nearby cabin just down by the lake, which we are actually camped on. It's a very large lake. It takes a while to navigate around, but the camp, or the cabin in question, or the fishing hut, whatever you want to call it, is not too far away. And it's in a straight line if we can remember which way to go. So we're going to head straight out of camp. The lake is directly ahead of us. We're going to try and find a path here. Yep, there we go. And make our way over to the cabin by the lake here. That is the lake. You can see it is rather large. It has its own little island in the middle, and it's good for fishing. So we're going to make our way down to the end of the pier here, as we can see a gentleman standing at the edge. Let's see what he has to say for himself, shall we?
5 minutes without a fan badgering me?
Hey.
God. Hello, chum.
Chum?
Do you want an autograph or a photograph?
I'm sorry?
People often get nervous, but there's really no need to. I'm just a normal guy who, well, happens to be very famous.
Okay. Who are you?
Jeremy Gill.
Who?
The famous fisherman. I've written a lot of books. I'm in the newspaper all the time. Here's one from the New Hanover Gazette from a few years back. And this is a book I wrote. Huh? I wrote it.
Good for you.
You really don't know who I am? Oh, well. Nice to meet you.
You too. Arthur.
Sure you don't want a photo?
Not right now.
You know, mothers, they often offer me their daughters.
Just for a photograph?
No, to marry. But I say no. I'm married to the fish.
Huh. So, you're famous for fishing?
Very.
And that pays well?
Pretty well. What I mostly do is send fans stuffed fish.
Stuffed fish?
Yeah. Here, let me show you. Come with me.
And you're selling these?
Yes. How many do you want? If you get 3, we could do a photograph. Together. Like actual friends.
No, I'm fine. It's sort of ridiculous.
Listen, chum. People love it. And I could sell even more fish if I had them. It helps them to know that out there's some man fighting with Neptune on a daily basis and winning.
Okay.
But I can't catch enough of them. And there's really good money in this.
I'll fish a little.
You do? Well, in that case, send them to me. Of course, not if they're too rotten. Do you like that bass? I'd sell this for $50. I'd give you 15.
Send you fish.
Ooh, my card and a map.
Well, maybe I shall.
Only the decent ones. They have to be at least 24 inches in length and 10 pounds in weight. No one wants to imagine Jeremy Gill catching a tiddler. There's no money in tiddlers.
So I hear.
So this gentleman has tasked us with tracking down, capturing and sending to him the 13 legendary fish on the map. Now, because we're only roughly the halfway point of the story, we can't access all 13 fish just yet. We can't get the last 3 until the epilogue, which will essentially be chapter 7. So for this video, we're just going to go around and collect up the 10 fish that we can find and get to relatively easily. But before we do any of that, we need to make one little stop along the way, and we are heading for the swamp area of La Gras. And over here we have the fishwives house, or the fish store, and in here we are going to acquire ourselves the special lake, river and swamp lures. These will come in extremely handy. I think there's only one lure better than these, and that is the spinning lure, which I believe we get at the end of this particular mission. So I'm just having a quick look through, nothing else there I want. So we're going to go off now and collect up the 13 legendary fish, or the 10 we have access to at the present time. Of course, this will take a considerable amount of time, for which I will spare you. We will go off to the first location, and we're going to start our search right up in the corner of the map, in the top right hand corner, and we're going to make our way all the way up into the wilderness here, and we will locate our first legendary fish. Now, using the right lure is critical. Also being critical is where you stand will determine whether you can actually capture the legendary fish or just other fish around. So I started off around about here, and all I kept catching were sturgeons for some strange reason. But I do eventually move down closer to the waterfall and aim much more down the river. So we're just going to make sure we've got the right lure on our rod, and then we will proceed to attempt to catch our first legendary fish. Now, like I said, this does take a very long time, so we will spare you the majority of this. But here is our first legendary fish, and it is a beauty. That is the Steelhead Trout. So we're going to take this fish and we are going to mail it off to our friend, and then move on to the next fish, which for this one will be the legendary perch, followed by the long-nosed gar. So some of these are quite easy to catch, one or two of them can be somewhat difficult. So here we have the lake sturgeon, which we find whilst dangling off of a bridge. We have the bluegill. I didn't list all 10 of the fish here, this is about 7 or 8 of them, but we have acquired all of the 10 available fish. So there is the chain pickerel, and last but not least the salmon mouth or smallmouth bass. So I've saved this one for last. This one is located on the prison island, the penitentiary. So you need to get a boat to get across the river for this one. You can see there was a guard tower in the background. There is the boat in question. So that is the 10 available fish that we can get at this part of the game, all collected. And we're just going to go off and mail this 10th fish to our fishing friend. And we're going to leave the story there for now, and we will pick this up again in the next episode. I have been Anubis, and I will see you all in the next video.